Hey guys, Logan Truck here and welcome back to another What's Coming to Disney Plus video for on UK, this time for May of 2022. Well, I have some stuff to say before I get on to May. Apologies for kinda April's late release that time because I was dealt with some major stuff. One, I got COVID. I'm perfectly fine now, by the way, but it kinda interfered with the recording. As well, I tried to render that video about 4 times, and each time it came up with a new upload, it would get copyright claimed and blocked worldwide, so I had to go back. And what was frustrating was that some clips used in that video were later claimed and made that particular video blocked. So why they didn't say it the first time, who knows? YouTube is broken. But hopefully for May's recording it'll be a lot easier in terms of dealing with YouTube's bullshit. As well, there's going to be, well, probably, for Disney Plus, there'll be certain announcements that I won't cover on here because Disney Plus, for April, randomly announced 2 other things that came out. One would be the first 8 seasons of American Horror Story coming out by the time I'm doing this video's recording next week, or I think Wednesday. And as well, a Simpsons short when Ezzy or Belly, or whatever her Billie Eilish's name is, met Lisa, that came out today. So if there's any sudden announcements Disney makes throughout May, that was after this video was made, so, just to make that clear. But regardless, we still got some stuff here for May for 2022 on UK. So let's get into this, starting off with the 4th of May. Of course, May the 4th, we with you, and all that stuff. Starting off, we have episode 6 of Moon Knight, which is so far the season finale. I don't know if this series will get a second season. It is more like Loki, where it's not a miniseries. It can continue with more seasons if Marvel decides to keep it going. I watched the 4 episodes available. I don't know what it's about this show, but it is not doing anything for me. It's hard to explain, where maybe it didn't meet my expectations, but even with as low of expectations I had towards it, it still was more disappointing than any of the other MCU shows out there. I like the darker aspects of it, but it's just a shame that I don't care much about everything else outside of the darker elements. So it's kind of a shame that this series, in comparison to all the other MCU shows, just did nothing for me. But here we are. So at least, the season finale, it could potentially get more seasons down the line, like with Loki and What If, so only time will tell on Moon Knight. We have Disney Galleries, The Book of Boba Fett, kind of similar to the Marvel Ascended thing that Disney Plus do. This is more or less going behind the scenes of some Disney Plus shows that came out, and in this case it's with Boba Fett. With the Book of Boba Fett, which, again, from what I've heard about it, it's barely even a Boba Fett show, and it's like, hey, Mandalorian Season 2.5. That's essentially what I'm hearing from what, how the episodes go. But again, you still get more of the behind-the-scenes stuff from the Book of Boba Fett, so, if you're interested in that sort of thing. We have episode 16 of Season 5 of The Resident. We have episode 7 of season 19 of NCIS. So again, just in case you don't know, this is an acquired show from Disney and Viacom or Paramount, where Fox used to air the show mainly, like the main rights of the show went to Fox, but since of the Fox network's closure, they decided to release it on Disney Plus for now. So again, if Paramount Plus comes around for on UK, this show will not be added. Instead, it'll go into Disney Plus. So again, just in case you've forgotten that. And again, this is only for on UK. I don't think a lot of other regions will have this, like The Walking Dead. So, at least it's interesting to see that play out. We got episode 12 of Our Kind of People, which is the finale of the series. Again, I don't know if this series has been renewed for a second season or not, but if it does, we'll get back into it later down the line, possibly in 2023 or 2024, so again, only time will tell on that show. We got the first 5 episodes of season 5 of Raven's Home. Again, this is the sequel to the What's So Raven series on Disney Channel that came out in the 2000s. I haven't watched much of this show because I'm not a sitcom guy outside of animated ones most of the time. So I don't know how good this show is personally, but if it has 5 seasons, it must have done something right. We got season 1 of Baymax and Moochie. This is a bunch of shorts that I think are based off the Big Hero 6 series on Disney Channel. From the way it looks like it has the similar animation style to that show, so it's more Big Hero 6. We got episodes 7 to 11 of season 5 of Puppy Dog Pals. Again, Disney Junior, couldn't care. We got season 1 of Lego Star Wars All Stars, which I don't know much about this. It could be like a bunch of series of shorts that combine the different characters from the Disney era of Star Wars together. So, it's there. We got episode 11 of season 2 of The Great North. We have episode 13 of season 12 of Bob's Burgers, which, just for a quick reminder, by the way, the movie is coming out in May as well. So this is kind of like your last chance to watch as much Bob's Burgers as you can before the movie comes out in the end of the month. More likely we'll get that movie in Disney Plus maybe around July, August, around that. Only, time will tell on how that movie will go, but I've been meaning to catch up on Bob's Burgers as much as I possibly can. So hopefully I can watch enough of it to get familiar with the movie, as well. I want to keep more 2D animated movies around and see how Disney can use the Fox catalog of animated shows for their movies. So, there's that. We got episode 13 of season 20 of Family Guy. We got episode 1 to 10 of season 3 of Good Trouble, which is a freeform series, I believe. I think it's also a spin-off to another pre-existing show. I forgot what one it was, but it's more of this show coming, so that's good. We got episode 11 of 16 of season 3 of Gangtrokerous. Again, Disney Junior, couldn't care. We have season 1 and 2 of American Crime Story. So similar to American Horror Story, this series was on Netflix for the longest time here on UK, but eventually the rights were, Netflix lost the rights towards it, and eventually Disney got them back. And while we have American Horror Story with the other 8 seasons coming later in about a week, we have the crime series, which focuses again more on true life stories that happen in real life, big major events that happen in America. Like the first season is mainly focused on the case of O.J. Simpson, and the second one is based on the assassination of Gandhi Vensenal. I don't know, I think that's how you pronounce the name. But again, these are more like taking the real life stories and telling it through the usual lens of the American Horror Story way of telling their stories. The third season, Impeachment, however, is not on Disney Plus just yet in some regions. I don't know when exactly that will be coming to on UK, but I've been looking forward to this series as well, like with American Horror Story. And we do have a lot more of these American Story shows coming, like sports and love, and I think even a drama one, I think. So, if you're a fan of the American Story shows, we got more of it coming now. We have season 4 of Snowfall. I don't know much about this show, but I've been meaning to watch it. Looks very interesting from what I've heard. The show has a 5th season as well, just airing now, and has a 6th and final one coming out later on in 2022, I believe. So, we're close to the end of the show already, but we still got 2 seasons left to be added onto Disney Plus here. We have season 1 of Scrapyard Supercar, which again is Nash Geographic about, the different type of junk cars and that, so, it's more of the same. Secrets of Wild India season 1, again, Nash Geographic documentary about animals and the secret life of them, and, the usual Nash Geographic stuff. And we have season 1 of Egypt from Above, which is the spin-off from the Europe from Above series as well. of course, going more into the landscape of Egypt. So, it's more of the same. For the 5th of May, on a Thursday, we got a new episode of The Kardashians, which, funny enough, apparently I heard it has the biggest premiere on Hulu, Disney Plus, and Star Plus. So it's kind of funny to think that the Kardashians are able to beat all the Marvel and Star Wars shows that came out on Disney Plus. So it's just funny to think that. And we have episode 15 of season 6 of This Is Us. For the 6th of May on a Friday, we have Where the Heart Is. Probably looks like a kind of coming to age drama movie for two friends or two sisters. So, there's that. Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. This looks kind of interesting. It could potentially, I think, could be like almost like one of those dramas, like one of those heartwarming dramas to see how these friends are able to grow their friendship while one of them, the Dying Girl in particular, suffers from leukemia. So, it's probably going to hurt on your heartstrings a bit. We got Babylon AD, which I think this is Jason, what's his name? I forgot the name of the guy. I don't know, I've probably remember later on, but it's just your typical action sci-fi movie that came out in the 2000s. So, there's that. Long Gone Summer. It looks like another one of those ESPN or the 30 for 30 documentary movies or shows that came out. So, it looks fine. Mike and the Mad Dog. This is the 30 for 30 movie about two people called Mike Francesca and Chris Solano. I think that's who he is. I don't know. I don't know much about sports in general, but looks like your typical breakup between two friends from the looks of it. Lost Temple of Inkia, National Geographic. And we have Saving Venice. That looks like another documentary movie about environment issues, so about climate change. The typical movie about climate change. So, there's that. For the 8th of May on a Sunday, we have Roadkill AAO. I don't know much about this. I think it could be a BBC miniseries from what I looked it up. Could be that, but who knows what this is. So, there's that. For the 11th of May, we have The Crest. This is the newest Disney Plus show to be coming out that is kind of in between a competition series that mixes with more fantasy and fantastical elements in it. Again, I don't know how this will work exactly on Disney Plus, but it is a big thing from what I heard, so, I guess for kids there's that going for it. We have the next assembled Marvel Studios documentary series about the making of Moon Knight. Again, going behind the scenes about the show and how it became to be the way it is. So, it's the usual thing after an MCU show came out on Disney Plus and finishes it. We have episode 17 of season 5 of The Resident. We got episode 8 of season 19 of NCIS. We have How I Met Your Father, which is having one of the most bizarre releases of any Disney Plus or Hulu show I've seen. Just for a quick summary, it's a spin-off of the How I Met Your Mother series, which I don't know if this is just in the name only, or it actually connects from the original How I Met Your Mother show. I never watched both of them to really know. But where this is coming in is for the UK-wise, it's having all the episodes out as normal. All the episodes will be available on Disney Plus. For Ireland, on the other hand, we strangely going to have this weekly. So for now, we will have the first 2 episodes of the series here in Ireland, and then they'll go to a weekly thing. I don't know if the How I Met Your Mother series is extremely popular in Ireland, that Disney's like, yep, we gotta do this one weekly. UK, you can just have all of it at once. This is the first time ever, I think, where they actually have to separate the UK and Ireland release here. which is going to be bizarre for future videos when you're saying, yep, this series is out in the UK. Ireland, however, you have it like weekly here. So it's a weird way of doing it. So, it's interesting to see, but hopefully they won't do this for a lot of their shows. We got episode 10 to 16 of season 5 of PJ Masks. Again, Disney Junior kinda. I don't know if they actually own it or they just have like agreements from the studio who actually makes the PK Masks to be on Disney Plus. So, who knows? We got episode 12 of season 2 of The Great North. We got episode 14 of season 12 of Bob's Burgers. We got episode 14 of season 20 of Family Guy. We have the 5-part documentary series called A Wilderness of Error, which kind of goes into the Green Beret Army surgeon Jeffrey McDonald, who was sent to prison after being convicted of killing his pregnant wife and 2 young daughters. So it kind of goes into, your typical thing of is this man guilty, or on the media, like how much did they report it and how much did they change some bits about it. It looks interesting to me, so I might give this a watch. We have season 1 of Wonders of the Ocean, about the sea, about the Pacific Ocean in particular, so, it's more of the same. We have season 5 of Paramount Survivor. Again, goes into a guy called Hasan Aldor as he goes into the more dangerous wilderness and encounters a lot of insects and creatures. So, usual National Geographic Into the Wild type show. We got season 1 of Kingdom of the White Wolf, again going into particular wolves and how they survived the Atlantic and all that type of stuff. For the 12th of May, we have another episode of The Kardashians and episode 16 of season 6 of This Is Us. For Friday the 13th, we have Sneakerella. This is the newest of the Disney Plus original movies that I think from the trailer, from what I'm seeing, it's like if you take Cinderella but put it in with black people and with the ruby slippers being a bunch of sneakers. That's from what I'm getting from this. That's what I'm getting. And this one was delayed for a few different regions. I think worldwide, I think in general, was just delayed. And after a while, I guess just did like Friday the 13th, just go with that. That's that. So again, I may not watch this movie. It's just not my thing, but I don't know how this will go on the internet in general. We have Goodbye Christopher Robin. Now, this is one of the interesting things, because this is from Fox Searchlight. At the time, I think this was after the Disney merger was completed. And because of it, this is the Fox, or just in general, this is the more the public domain Winnie the Pooh, as you will not see that red little coat on Winnie the Pooh here, because otherwise they'll get that Disney money involved. I mean, I loved how people were excited that Winnie the Pooh is now in the public domain, he's safe from the mouse. It's like, no. It's kind of like the same thing with Cinderella, Snow White, Rapunzel, They still own their particular version of the characters, but you can still make your own versions of, say, Winnie the Pooh and all that, just avoid certain elements about the character that has been copyrighted by Disney to go. But then again, this probably goes into more of the real-life author of Winnie the Pooh and going from his son, called Christopher Robin. So, it's kind of like, your typical, kind of like the tragic or sad, but well-meaning type of those, things about the previous authors of the past, one of those type of films. It's a weird thing, but it's a strange genre for certain movies. We have Bruce Almighty, which is one of the more interesting films, again, because in the US, this film is distributed by Universal, but internationally, Disney sorted this one out, so a lot of regions outside of the US will have this on Disney+. And again, all I know is mainly the sequel that had Steve Carell take over from Jim Carrey's role, But it still has Morgan Freeman in there as well. And I know this one has been well liked compared to that one. So, I don't know, I might give this a watch. We have the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie. This one is the original 1992 movie, I think it's 1992, where it took a more comedic approach to the source material. Like, this was before the TV series came out and made it much more darker compared to what the film is. So it's more like a horror comedy in that way. It's interesting to see it now, like, we had this movie first. Because originally I just thought it had a show first and then got a movie. But no, it was the other way around. So that's kind of interesting to see. And again, if you're a fan of Buffy, at least you have the show and the movie as well as its spin-offs now on Disney+. So, there's that for Buffy fans. We have Tommy, which is the 1975 British film. I forgot if this is like a musical, a comedy, or whatever, but again, because of European quotas, this is on Disney+. They don't own it, but they're allowed the rights to it on Disney Plus for now, so, it's more of the same. We have Muhammad and Larry. This is another 30 for 30 documentary about Muhammad Ali as he had a fight with his friend and former sparring partner, Larry Holmes. So it kind of goes into how this friendship began, how this one fight could probably change it. It sounds interesting. We got Drain the Ocean with World War II. Again, another National Geographic thing. I think I talked about this. Like, this is just a whole series of talking about what would happen if you drained the ocean in each specific time, period, or location. So, there's that. And we have Train the Sunken Pirate City. Again, more of the same of another National Geographic documentary movie or series of this. So, there's that. For the 18th of May, we have Life in Bet. This is the newest of the Hulu Star original shows, and the one that has Amy Schumer in, so automatically, that means a pass. But sadly, it matters, because this series has already been having a second season already renewed from Hulu and Disney, so who knows, maybe this might do something. Again, it's Amy Schumer, the comedian who can take the comedian part out and make the comedy just about her vagina, how fat she is, lowbrow humor that I think even the dumbest of people can not even laugh at. So yeah, give this woman her own show. Thanks, Disney. We have season 4 of Grownish. This is the spin-off series to Blackish. Now, I forgot if this is still ongoing or if it's cancelled, because I know for a while I used to keep mentioning this every week, because it was weekly, until Disney just said, yep, just put all of it out at once. And again, I could be mistaken from the other spin-offs and that, so I don't know if this is the first spin-off of Blackish, but it's more of the same, type of stuff. We have episode 13 of season 2 of The Great North. We have episode 15 of season 12 of Bob's Burgers. We got episode 15 of season 20 of Family Guy. We also have the first episode of season 18 of American Dad. Again, if you know when I talked about this show back when it was on the 17th season, it's not technically. It's on its 19th season in the US, but because of the weird order Fox released the show, because of the canceled or cut short season 10 or 11, it's kind of been complicated from there in terms of what's on American Dad in terms of the production order. So again, we're on season 19 technically, but it's labeled here as season 18 from TBS. So, we have American Dad again on Disney Plus. So, we have 4 Fox shows now premiering weekly now. So, that's good for the Fox animation fans. But again, American Dad just has this weird production history, so that's why it's kind of bizarre. We have season 1 of Knights of Cancelo. Again, this was an Italian Disney Plus show that was expanding into other regions, but I guess they must have delayed it from April here, because it was meant to come out in April, but now in May. So, there's that. We have season 1 of the Mickey Mouse Squad. This is a Disney Channel thing, and again, Given how many times they said season 4 of this Clubhouse Mickey Mouse thing was coming out and yet never did, I wouldn't hold my breath on this, but who knows? Maybe it might come out, maybe it might. Who knows again? We have season 1 of Chain of Command, which is, I think, a National Geographic series, I think. I'm not sure if it is or it's a Star one, but, it looks more like National Geographic than Star. We got season 1 of 3 of Ultimate Airport Dubai, which again goes behind the airports behind Dubai and all the different type of searches and things they do down in the airports. So, more of the same. We have season 1 and 2 of Baking with Francesco Moliere. But another one of those cooking off shows and going around different countries and tasting food and all that type of stuff. So, not my thing, but, it's probably for someone. We have episode 25 to 29 of season 1 of Chicken Squad. Again, Disney Junior, couldn't care less. We have season 1 to 2 of Bimmy and the Ghost, which is a Disney Channel show, I think from a foreign region, I'm not 100% sure. But it's like your typical horror comedy mystery show about, a ghost and a human friend. So, there's that. We have season 3 of Mayan MC, which is the spin-off or continuation of the Sons of Anarchy series from Fox. And since this series is thing with BBC has been, ended back earlier this year, we can now have this series on Disney Plus now as well, so there's that. We got episode 18 of season 5 of The Resident. We got episode 9 of season 19 of NCIS. We have episode 3 of How I Met Your Father for Ireland. For the 19th of May, we have another episode of The Kardashians, and episode 17 of season 6 of This Is Us. For the 20th of May, we have Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers the movie. This is the newest of the Disney Plus original movies as well, and the movie based off the classic 80s, 90s animated series of Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, combining this particular show into a more modern setting and having kind of this animated hybrid thing with both live action and different types of animation, where I think Chip is animated somewhat in 2D and Dale is animated in your typical CG realistic type of animation you see a lot in these hybrid movies. And as well, this is the kind of another film that might be that reference this and maybe use her character from the past to get the nostalgia thing going. Because I know this film has like Roger Rabbit, it has My Little Pony, it has Indiana Jones, and it has other stuff, from different IPs of Disney's and just the industry in general. And as well, having this kind of thing about animation as well could maybe be an interesting point, but it depends on the quality. I am looking forward to this movie. I may have not watched the Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers series, but it's the idea behind it that kind of interests me. But I am prepared if it becomes another, like, Ralph Breaks the Internet type of movie, where it's just, hey, we own this! Watch Disney Plus, please! It's one of those type of movies. Kind of like what Space Jam: A New Legacy kind of was. We have The Valiant. This is a new Star original movie that I also think premieres on the Hulu as well. I think this is a comedy. I'm not so sure myself, but it has like a famous actress kind of face some PR disaster and some other romantic comedy type situations happen after that. Not interested to me personally, but it's another Star original movie, so there's that going for it. We also have The Transporter and its sequel, The Transporter 2. Now, these films are interesting because, in France-wise, these are distributed by another company, but worldwide, 20th Century Fox did this film. So, in that case, Disney has the first two films of this franchise, and that's kind of all they have, as the third film, Transporter 3, eventually this other studio called Eurocorp, I think that's who they are, they eventually got worldwide release of the films past number 2, so number 3 and the reboot, Reloaded, are not from Fox or Disney, so you only get these two films on Disney Plus here, and you have to probably go to Netflix or another streaming service for the third and fourth movie. We have D. Wade, Life Unexpected, which is a documentary show or movie, I think, that kind of goes into one of the greater NBA players and some other stuff that he's done over the years, like controversy and that type of stuff. So, it's your typical sports player that ends up getting in trouble type of movie. We have the next film from 30 for 30, Qualified, which is kind of goes into Julia Galter as she does her own thing about breaking auto racers and all this type of car stuff. Not interesting to me, but it's there. We have Kingfisher's Battle of the Nordics. Again, National Geographic thing about fishermen. And we have Wild Monster. So that's really about it. For the 25th of May, we have episode 10 of season 19 of NCIS. We also have the first season of Papa Pong and Conjo, that I think is another Italian series. I don't know much about it. We have episode 14 of season 2 of The Great North. We have episode 16 of season 12 of Bob's Burgers. We have episode 16 of season 20 of Family Guy. We have episode 2 of season 18 of American Dad. We have episode 1 to 6 of season 1 of I Wonder, which kind of goes into kind of different stuff about magic and video illusions and that type of stuff. We got episode 13 to 20 of season 1 of Mia, the Royal Detective. Again, Disney Junior stuff about Indian princess as a detective. So, there's that. We have season 1 of Chubby Tiny Tales. These are a bunch of shorts that came out on Disney Channel that would have the characters from Disney Channel, from Phineas and Ferb, The Owl House, Amphibia, The Ghost of Molly McGee, and all these different Disney Channel shows in the Ghibli animation format, and where they have little tiny adventures that will go off in their town. So, it's a fun concept, and I've seen a few of these here and there, so to have an official place to watch them, that's a good thing. We have season 1 of Die Hottest Fan Bagel or Die Camping, which is again kind of like your reality competition show about a few people doing some stuff, I think. We have episode 7 to 8 of Secrets of Aunt Katie, some preschooler show thing, couldn't care less. We have Wild Russia, which I think was another thing I was saying in my April video, but here we are with this one. We also have Port Protection Alaska with season 1 to 4. I don't know what this weird order is, but it's another National Geographic thing. We have season 2 of Building Wild, which will have 2 guys build some things, usual National Geographic things. We have season 1 of Alaska Animal Rescue, again goes into saving animals in Alaska. We all have season 1 of Awesome Animals, more likely goes into the National Geographic Kids area of showing off the different type of animals and the interesting things you can find about them. We have season 1 to 12 of NYPD Blue. This is an old 90s Fox ABC show that came out in the 90s that eventually ended in 2005, which, I don't know, I was surprised that not only this thing lasted for 12 seasons, but managed to go through the 90s and end in the mid-2000s. That's actually interesting to see. We have season 1 of Wu-Tang, an American Saga, which I think goes into a famous young black man as he goes between music and crime. So it looks very interesting. We got episode 19 of season 5 of The Resident, and we have episode 4 of How I Met Your Mother for Ireland. For the 28th of May, we have another episode of The Kardashians, and episode 18 of season 6 of This Is Us. For the 27th of May, we have the first 2 episodes of Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is the next big Star Wars team show that kind of goes in between the events of the Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, where he's trying to protect Luke Skywalker from the dark side, as well deal with some familiar and new faces as well, including having Darth Vader once again with the main actor from both those films, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I forgot the name of the actor who does Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker in Revenge of the Sith, but he's coming back to play Darth Vader in the show as well. So again, it's kind of in the in-between phase between the Star Wars franchise. So maybe this might do well, maybe it might be too much fan service, who knows, but I see it might be doing alright on Disney Plus. We have We Feed People, which is a documentary movie from National Geographic that kind of goes into some people having to protect and give food to people who are more unfortunate. So, it looks fine. We have Patty Cakes. I think this is a Fox Searchlight movie. I'm not 100% sure. The only thing I know is the name because I keep thinking about Roger Rabbit during that, but looks fine. We got Jumper, which I think is a Fox movie, or it could be another one of those international films. I think this is a sci-fi movie, like a sci-fi action film. I don't know, I never watched it myself, but, it's done something, I think. We have JFK, which is funny enough, this is from Warner Brothers. I guess, again, to fill that quota, the European quota, that Disney said, ask Warner Brothers if they can put this movie on their server, and they go right ahead. So again, this is the long 3-hour movie that goes into JFK's life. So it'll be very interesting to see this, especially since, again, this has no thing about Fox or Disney, so it's completely Warner Brothers' film that's now on Disney Plus. So it's interesting to discover that. We have the Daredevil movie. This is the 2000s action film that had Ben Affleck as the titular Daredevil himself. And this is before Netflix made Daredevil even cool. So yeah, this one has the more goofier moments, the trying so hard to be edgy stuff too. So far I know the spin-off, Elektra, I don't know the name, isn't on Disney Plus just yet, so only time will tell if that will be here at some point. We have What's Your Number, which looks like another one of those romantic comedy type of movies. We have The Negotiator, which has Samuel L. Jackson playing a cop and having to, get the evidence to clear his name from corruption and that. So it sounds like a typical action film. And then after that, we have the entire Big Mama's House trilogy, which is a phrase I never thought I'd say, but that's the truth. We had the first film from 2000s, which had Martin Lawrence dress up as a black fat woman. We had its sequel, which kind of continued that same premise. And then you had the third film, Like Father, Like Son, where now he has to protect his son from a mob by dressing him as a slightly skinnier black woman. Yeah, I don't know how these films are judged nowadays if they've aged poorly. But since I guess we're still having some films that have black men dress up as black women, like Medea, for example, I guess we're not completely over it. Who knows? I only remember having the DVD for the first two. I think my sister mainly liked them more. And I think I saw the third film in theaters. So, yeah, there's that going forward, I guess. And we have Drain the Titanic. Another documentary movie about Titanic, which, come on. Fox, you had the international rights towards of Titanic. Don't tell me Paramount has that much of a hold on it. And finally, for the 31st of May, we have Pistol. This is a 6-episode limited series of the kind of famous Sex Pistol band. That kind of goes into their lives and how the band was formed, and of course their downfall, and all that type of stuff that you expect. Again, this will be on Hulu in the US, so it's on Disney Plus here in the UK and Ireland. So with that, that is May of 2022. Overall, it's, again, a more quiet month. It still has some big stuff in here and there. You have your Fox animated shows, you got some movies here and there, and of course you have your originals. Like with Obi-Wan Kenobi, you have the Chip and Dale movie, and as well you have a few other original Disney Plus movies and shows, but it's still a fairly more quiet month compared to, say, April or even March. So, hopefully this won't take as much time to render and redo on YouTube. So, with that, I'll see you guys until my next video. See you guys later.